Hello all, back again with this model, and thought I'd just show the basic installation of the chip. And I'm going to install a lock sound 21 pin V5 decoder. So on this model, you just very carefully prise off this roof section here, cowling fan section. You take that off and you get access to the standard analog chip that's in there. And you can see all that cable. You've got to be careful not to damage any of that cabling, as it's very delicate. So I'm going to attempt to try and get that out now without causing any damage. It's quite tricky, to tell you the truth, because that chip actually is bigger than the opening. I might have to take the body off, not sure yet. But the 21 pin chip, the ESU one will go in there perfectly, no problem at all. Probably even put the speaker in there as well, although you have to be very careful where you put the speaker regarding any metallic switches and parts. Yeah, so the actual opening for the blanking chip, as you can see that it's wider than the roof section, the opening there, so you've got to be very careful to take that out. So I might possibly take the body off. Not 100% sure yet, I'll have to think about what to do next. Right, so according to the instructions, there's 8 points, precise points you need to pull the body away slightly. You've got to be very careful doing it. So anyway, I've got the 8 shims in there, and I'm just going to try and pull this out now, see if it'll lift out. Nearly. Nearly. Very nearly. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct or not. It should just lift off, but it doesn't seem to want to budge at the other end, so there might be something else snagging that. It's nearly off, but not quite. Right, I've got the body off. I was nearly giving up on it because it just would not come off. You've got the 4 points on either side which are shown, and then you've got to very carefully manipulate the front, this cowling area where it curves in a bit on the front of the body, there and there. You've got to really carefully manipulate that area with something like an artist palette. Uses artist plastic pallets which are flexible, and that can get in those two areas, and once you do that, the body will just lift off. Very careful doing that, and then you get access to the strangest one, because it's got concealed drive shaft corridors, which I've never seen on a model like that before. Totally concealed. Yeah, that's a bit different. There is a way of maintaining it with the oil, etc. We've got the driver's cab, quite nice. And the lighting, all the seating. I've got the headrest covers and the tables, which are nice. I just wish this wiring was hidden away a bit more coming down, because you can see that in the when the lighting comes on, you'll be able to see it. So I may paint the red and blue wires there, and maybe the wires on the back end there as well. So I think you can see that. Yeah, but overall it's nice. Again, the build quality is still not as good as the Roco and other makes. The wiring is a little bit messy, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. It's all does a job okay. Got a concealed motor. Again, I'm not sure how, you'd have to probably take off the lighting board. I don't know exactly how you'd get to all those concealed parts. But anyway, you got the speaker area there. I'm not sure whether to put a speaker in there or not. I don't know. You've got a trailer wire out the speaker bay. There's a wire. There's a hole there. That's where you trail the wire up to the socket. Right, that chip, the blanking chip, is in there extremely tight, and you've got to manipulate that out very, very carefully, and eventually it'll come out like that. And you can see how long those pins are. The pins seem to be extra long. You've got to take note of the pins and how to insert the new chip. Well, that chip, that blanking chip, is all the way down. Was all the way down on the socket, so it is really. I don't think it would have been possible to get that chip out without taking the body off. It's really difficult, even though it's got access point on the top of the roof. But I know the new chip will go in with the roof, through the roof, not a problem at all. Right, so we've got certain switches on here for interior lighting. 2 rail and 3 rail jumpers, etc. by the looks of it. We've got concealed NAND pocket there. Behind the prototypical coupling on the body. I'm not sure, it says you can pull this out, but it looks really tricky to do. But it must create a gap there. That must come out somehow to create a gap. I think it just unplugs or pulls out somehow, but you've got to be careful doing that. That would enable another unit to be hooked up, but I'm not going to do that. And the other thing is, if you want to do this 2 screws here, 2 screws there, that enables all this section here with the seating, the lighting board, everything just pulls up and disconnects, and you'd pull that out, pull out the lighting units at each end for the cab on that end, and then that gives you access to the drive shafts, etc. But yeah, it's quite well done the way it's done. It's quite different because I've not seen that design before. And it is fairly easy to get apart once you understand how the body comes off. You've got to study the body before you start rushing into it. And I do recommend using the tools, glue sticks or credit cards, whatever you use. These are good artist palette tools, oil-based paint. So yeah, I've got that out. I'm gonna also advise taking the snowplow off, and you're taking the body off as well. Take the snowplow off first if you're going to do it. If you're going to take this apart, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to colorise. I'm going to just tone these cables in a bit where they're showing up different colours as well. And I'm going to install a chip. I'm not sure where I put a speaker yet. I probably will put it in its proper location. Right, so where I'm up to now is I've tidied all the wiring up, because the wiring was really sloppy and messy on the inside. I got interior lighting, I just didn't want to see all the wires dangling down, so I've manipulated these wires coming down from this bogie, the pickups. So it's going to go, the wire's been painted, and it's going to go up behind the pillar in between those 2 windows just above my thumb there. That's where it's going to go. That wire will be hidden there. I've untied all this wiring on the top, straightened it all up and pulled the wire straight. brought all the wires nice and tight together on the back, painted them a dark colour. In fact, I painted them, it doesn't matter which colour you paint them, but I've just painted them a dark sea blue FX17. That matches in nice, and then I just painted the wires that go from the bogies up around the seats so it all blends in, and the same on the other side. Pulled all the sellotape off, put in some new fixing tape, pulled off the wires which were below. For some reason there was a tube with some wires in it. I put that on the roof and brought the wires backwards to the rear seats, just behind the front cab. So that wiring should be all nicely hidden away when the body goes on. I hope I can get the body back on alright. Right, we're all done. This is as far as I'm going at the moment with this model. Fitted a lock sound 21 pin on the top, obviously in this area. I decided to put the sound inside a loco behind the exit door. Full width maximum cube speaker. It sounds absolutely brilliant. It sounds better than the 23mm speaker firing downwards onto the track. So this one's coming from inside, and it's using the body as like a sound chamber as well, so should be alright. Sounds good anyway, even with the body off. Just fire it up. Yeah, it does. It sounds really really nice. Yeah, really happy with this. And like I said, I've tidied up the wiring on the back, painted it, tucked it below the seats and made it much more camouflaged. And same on the cab end just behind, tidied up all the wiring, retaped it, took off the factory sellotape and used this my own special tape for keeping everything in place there, so really happy with it. The quality of the paintwork on the body is really well done. You can see where it's been sprayed properly in the factory. The spray gun. Really nice quality on that. You just got to be careful taking the body off not to damage it. I'm going to put drivers in the driver cab. I'm going to put cheap factory figures dotted around inside before I put the body back on. That's the next stage. I'm going to you can get a packet of 100 people, which are really quite rough looking, but you can tidy them up by painting them like I've done in the Rheingold coaches last. I've populated all the carriages and it looks quite nice. Cheap way of doing it anyway, so that's the next stage I'm going to do before I put the body back on. So it's all done and dusted now. Interior lighting has got a slight delay on it when it turns off and on. It's got cab lighting, high beam, low beam, and it's all going to look quite nice, especially when you get the figures in there. One word of warning though, when you're installing DCC chips etc, is to make sure when you're messing around with speakers that the power's off, because on the last one I did, the cube speaker accidentally magnetised itself to the pickup on the roller road, and it fused out the chip and burnt the chip. And that was on this model. I had all this was complete and ready to go. I was doing the final check on it, and it blew the chip when the speaker hit the rolling road pickup. Just magnetised itself to it, and I just couldn't believe it. I was tired when I was doing this. I was tired. I shouldn't have done it. I finished work and I jumped on this. I should not have done it. But I've got to re-hardwire a new chip in there and put all the other bits and bobs and rebuild that. So that's the old circuit board on the Roble. All that's coming out anyway. All that's rubbish now because of having a lock sound micro in there, and plus the power backup as well. And it's just great. It's all ready to go, and I just could not believe it. But anyway, that happens sometimes. But anyway, that's where I'm up to. Part B. Part C will be installing the figures and the cab, putting the body back on. Hopefully the body will go on as easier than it came off. It's a bit tricky doing that. That's it. Thanks for watching.